done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
Especially, what do you think about that?
You know what I think about.
So you won't believe this, but Tom Aspinall made a remark that completely set Dana White off. Dana straight up said, "I hate that." Now everyone's wondering if the UFC boss is just fed up with the heavyweight division altogether. And all of this is happening right as the stage is set for UFC 321, where Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane are gearing up for a massive heavyweight clash. Right before that huge fight at UFC 321, former flyweight king Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson shared his final thoughts on the Aspinall vs. Gane matchup. He said he's genuinely excited to see Tom back in the cage. Why? Because in his own words,
in time, Tom Aspinall is back in the UFC to keep the heavyweight division going. That's the most thing I'm excited about, right? When you look at Tom Aspinall, what he's been able to do inside the UFC and the heavyweight division is he has the shortest fight time in the whole entire company, meaning that he blasts to everybody each time he fights, whether it's submission game or if he's knocking them out. And that's one thing people don't talk about when it comes to Tom Aspinall. This man can knock you out and he can also submit you. He submitted Volkov with a Kimura from half guard. He's also knocked out Curtis Blades.
Tom is the spark actually keeping the entire heavyweight class alive right now. Demetrius went on about Tom's complete arsenal, his speed, timing, and his ability to take over a fight, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. He really broke it down, saying Tom's biggest weapon is that explosive quickness he has and his ability to stay composed even when things get wild. Johnson noted that Tom closes distance way faster than most heavyweights can, and he strikes with a level of accuracy that's almost impossible to counter.
Anywhere. The only time Tom Aspinall gets in trouble is when somebody tries to hit him. He brings his head back and he brings himself outside of his shell. Now, when we look at Cyril Gane, the one thing Cyril Gane has going for him is that he is a big athletic and he moves very well on the feet, but not as well as Tom Aspinall. Cyril Gane does have great kicks. He does have a good two right hand. He's very dynamic with his kicks and his push kick.
But he still gave respect to Cyril Gane, saying his movement and kicks could become a serious issue if he keeps the fight long and avoids the fence. The guy truly can compete everywhere. So in the end, Demetrius Johnson confidently picked Tom Aspinall to win.
Out techniquing Tom Aspinall, I don't see him out moving, so he's got to be a trickster of, you know, tricking Tom like, oh, I got you. Move, gotcha. Oh, move. He's got to keep Tom Aspinall guessing. If he gives Tom Aspinall the opportunity to set outside the void, feint, leg kick, which he'll probably check those, feint, leg, and let him dictate when he's going to blitz across the void, he's going to get eaten up all day because Tom Aspinall is a master of blitzing across the void, landing those shots. And if he doesn't, you know, feint, kick, push kick, go lateral, always jump off the railroad tracks when the train's coming, he's going to get ran over.
If you remember, at first Cyril Gane was the bigger star and the more established name, while Tom Aspinall was still climbing the ladder. But look at the situation now. Tom is the interim champ and a 4-1 favorite. They're still the same athletes they were before, but they've moved in totally different directions. So being the favorite on paper doesn't decide anything. It all comes down to strategy and who shows up when it matters. Sonnen also makes sure to point out Gane's dangerous striking resume.
Versus Cyril Gane. Guys, it's going down Saturday. I got to tell you, I feel like this fight has been looming for the longest period of time. I mean, I feel like we've known that these two were going to come together. And by the way, when this fight was first suggested, it was suggested by Tom Aspinall. And you want to know what might surprise you? And I can almost guarantee that your mind has played tricks on you and you don't remember it this way. When this fight was suggested, it was suggested by Tom Aspinall, who was behind Cyril. Cyril had been interim champion. Cyril had been in world title fights. Cyril was a main eventer. And Tom suggests a round robin. He suggests me versus the winner of Cyril in his next fight. The winner of that then becomes the #1 contender and goes on and fights for the belt. Right this very second, have Tom Aspinall a -400. that means Tom's a 4-1 favorite. That's huge. And that's not the way it would have been the day this fight was very first suggested.
The guy has legit kickboxing experience and has faced top heavyweights like Junior Dos Santos, Derek Lewis, and Francis Ngannou. Gane is extremely dangerous on the feet, but you can't ignore Tom's striking or the explosive power he brings into every exchange. This matchup truly comes down to who sticks to their plan and who forces the other into big mistakes. On another note, Brendan Schaub broke down why this fight with Gane is the toughest test of Tom Aspinall's entire career.
9-2 in kickboxing. Ori was 27-3. I get Surreal and Israel Adesanya's in my mind. I confuse their professional kickboxing records at times, but Surreal was extremely successful, and that has been tested in the world of MMA. If you look at what he did, for example, to Tai Tuivasa, if you were to look at what he did, for example, to Derek Lewis, if you were to look at example, even in defeat, how well Surreal did with Francis Ngannou. If you want to really see Surreal on display, you want to go back and watch a fight and refresh your memory, go watch Surreal versus Junior Dos Santos. And the ending to that was a little bit in a weird way where Dos Santos thought that he was punched in the back of the head, but I'm just saying, take that, just go look at the stand-up abilities. Go look at the punches and kicks. I mean, there's few people in the heavyweight division that are more frightening to be stuck on your feet with than Junior Dos Santos, but Surreal wasn't scared at all.
And he says it's not just about winning. A simple win isn't enough. According to Schaub, Aspinall doesn't just have to beat Gane. He has to do it more impressively than Jon Jones did if he wants to cement himself as the division's top dog. So if this fight goes to a decision or drags into late rounds, a lot of fans will see that as a disappointment. Tom's real challenge this weekend is to prove he can dominate the most difficult opponent he's ever faced.
I'm good enough, he can go out and take Surreal down and keep him there. Francis had that plan. Francis going to do it, at least not all night. Jon Jones had that plan. Jon was able to do it pretty quickly. But is that the big idea? Is the big idea that Tom goes out there and he out-wrestles Surreal? Or do you think Tom can beat him on the feet? And that one's interesting to me personally because you got to look at somebody's past. You just do. You're forced to. Whether that works in your favor or not as a handicapper, you're forced to look at it. And the past, the resumes say in the stand-up department with the punches and the kicking, Surreal.
He has to put his speed, his skills, and his control on full display to make a real statement. Okay, so here's where things get even more interesting. Tom Aspinall recently posted a vlog on his YouTube channel, giving everyone a behind-the-scenes look at the UFC 321 Media Day. In one moment, Daniel Cormier starts talking to Tom, thinking it's a private chat between two fighters.
Tom versus Cyril Gane, there's so much pressure on Tom, and this is why. Because not only does Tom have to fight this monster, right? Cyril Gane's a fucking monster, so athletic. Obviously has a lot of holes in his game, but on the feet, the dude can fucking strike. Not only do you have to beat the #1 contender, but you have to do it more impressively than Jon Jones did. That's the pressure Tom Aspinall is against.
What DC doesn't realize is that Tom's mic is still hot and everything is being recorded. In that short exchange, DC tells Tom that the heavyweight matchups are lined up perfectly for him right now. He says this could be Tom's chance to go on a massive run that completely redefines his career. DC even compared it to the momentum he felt before his own title defense against Volkan Ozdemir in 2018. Then Chael Sonnen chimed in later, saying Daniel clearly thought the interview was over and lowered his voice for what he assumed was a private talk. But Tom's camera crew kept filming, catching every word. So while DC was speaking off the record, the mic picked it all up. Chael called it a real big brother moment. He explained that DC wasn't just giving Tom compliments, he was giving him real guidance. Chael said DC's message was simple.
If you win by decision, it's disaster. If it gets dragged out into the 3rd, 4th round, disaster. Tom Aspinall's challenge this weekend, because again, not his fault, but because he hasn't faced the toughest competition, the marker here is win. Of course, dude, you're heavily favored. No. Of course you got to win.
Tom is in an incredible spot right now, but he has to keep grinding and stay focused. If he slows down even a little, the rest of the division will catch up fast. It wasn't about fight tactics. It was one champion offering advice to the next potential star. And to top it off, when Tom was asked about that hot mic moment where DC said no heavyweight can beat him.
Mike moment. Oh, did you guys see this? I wish this would have happened. So there was 2 shows going on. There was 2 different filmings going on. Daniel had welcomed Tom in for an interview of some degree. Daniel sits down with Tom. So now you got that show going on, which is an ESPN show. But then Tom has his own camera crew that's doing like a behind the scenes. So they're filming the filming. They're making a show about the show. Are you following me with this? So when they get done, Daniel lowers his voice. He's just gonna talk with Tom. It's just him and Tom talking. So he lowers his voice. But Daniel forgot, wasn't aware.
Tom stayed humble. He said it felt amazing to hear that from a legend like Cormier, but he reminded everyone that heavyweight MMA is unpredictable and anything can happen. But don't get it twisted. Tom also said he truly believes his skill level is above everyone else in the division. He knows how good he is, but that confidence doesn't mean he thinks he's untouchable. He added that he still feels like he has a lot left to prove, and he's ready to show it in the cage.
Daniel's building Tom up, and he's telling me, you're in a really unique spot. You are the best guy in the division, but once you get through Surreal, right? If Jones ain't coming back, or even if he is, he's got his hands full with Pierre, like these pieces are off the board. You're in this really great spot where you can go out and you can defend a title. You can be the man. You can be and not be in any danger.
After being sidelined for over a year due to that serious injury, Tom said he's more motivated than ever and fired up for what's next. Then not long ago, Tom Aspinall shocked everybody when he said he'd rather give up his belt than fight one of his close friends. In an interview, he explained that winning the title was his lifelong dream.
DC was caught on the mic saying that no heavyweight can beat you. What's it like getting praise from Daniel Cormier, and do you agree that you can go on a generational run at heavyweight?
Listen, heavyweight MMA is the most dangerous, unpredictable division in the whole sport, so...
He said that if he'd never been champion, maybe he'd consider it. But now that he's achieved it, he doesn't feel like he needs to prove anything by fighting someone he cares about. He said, and I'm quoting, "If I ever had to fight a friend for it, I'd vacate the belt and let him have his moment. There's no chance I'd fight him." So when reporters asked Dana White about Aspinall, saying he'd vacate instead of fighting a friend, Dana didn't hold back at all. His reaction was instant, a mix of disbelief and frustration every fan could see. He said, "I hate that."
Never won a title. I'd never touched gold before. I would we would have to fight.
He added that tons of friends and even family members have fought each other before, and it's about competing to see who's the best, not about friendships. He called the idea of vacating a world title for that reason absolutely insane. And when Dana calls something insane, he means it. That moment said everything. Dana wasn't just annoyed, he was genuinely stunned, because in his world, being a fighter means you step in against whoever is across from you.
Yeah. Well, now I've done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
That you wanted a boxing champion. Yeah, for sure. You're okay with an MMA champion, but you wanted a boxing champion.
Boxing for sure. The money is
more money. Yeah.
More money. Why not?
Would that be an outcome for him? No.
There's 3 more fights on the contract now.
Okay. So
and I don't want to sign a new contract.
Now with Tom's comments spreading everywhere, fans think Dana is losing patience with the entire heavyweight division. The division has had major problems. Top guys not fighting, former champs inactive for years, big names leaving. Dana was counting on Tom to be the face of a new era. He's young, talented, and the fans love him. But if Tom refuses certain matchups, it could throw everything into chaos again. And just to make things even more complicated, Tom's own father said he doesn't want him signing a new UFC deal when the current one ends because boxing pays more. So now, what do you think is the right move? Should Tom stay true to his morals and friendships? Or is Dana right that a real champion must be willing to fight anyone, even a friend? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more UFC updates, and ring the notification bell so you never miss what's really happening behind the scenes. Because trust me, this heavyweight story is only getting started.